Hi, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about maybe a controversial opinion, but I don't think Quake has ever been good. Um, in this series, Quake 1 really is kind of the strongest. It's as an offshoot of Doom. And I mean, it has like a series of campaigns, but when you really compare them, Doom is way more fun and way more dynamic and just, almost it's more fun than Quake. And Quake, it went for this weird medieval fantasy slash sci-fi gothic cybernetic aesthetic that they really couldn't decide on. And between each chapter, it really wasn't super clear what it was trying to be. It really has an identity crisis. And that only gets worse with each game. And it's always been the most jarring thing to me that after Quake 1, Quake 2 completely ditches the entire medieval aspect and goes strictly sci-fi, gothic, cybernetic, transhumanism. And you basically are this space marine dropping into the stratosphere of this Strogg homeworld and attacking it. And it's like, okay, this wasn't in the last game. You had to fight Shub-Niggurath, who was this like Eldritch horror. That's how the first game ended. But there wasn't a very clear or distinct story at all. Not that there has to be, but at least Doom was consistent. You are a space marine on Mars that is fighting demons. Like we got it. And with Quake, from Quake 1 to Quake 2, it just feels like two completely separate games. And yeah, it's strictly sci-fi, and you go through like very much campaign focused. And while Quake had campaign and multiplayer, and then you get to Quake 3 Arena, and that is a multiplayer only game. So they just went full on into the whole multiplayer aspect of it. And the problem there is that it's very jarring where we did total campaign and now total multiplayer. And the issue is that Unreal Tournament, which is a game that came out around the same time, does everything Quake does, but infinitely better. There are many other games, but specifically I would say Unreal Tournament, that do the formula they were going for, but just so much better and just beats it out entirely. Once I played Unreal Tournament, I could not see the value in Quake 3, and I never really super enjoyed Quake 3 Arena anyway. And then you have another jump to Quake 4, where again they very much shift completely back to a campaign-focused game. And again, it feels like a continuation of the second game, where you're a Marine, there's Strogg forces. There's some really weird, interesting scenes in that game where the Stroggification process, and the fact that you're half Strogg, half human. And that kind of is an interesting concept, but never really comes up in the game. It's kind of like, oh, can we really trust this guy if he's half Strogg? That kind of thing. And again, just looking at Quake 3, Quake 2, Quake 4, none of them resemble Quake 1, which I think was the tightest and strongest game out of all of them, because at least it was somewhat consistent in, hey, there's 4 different, levels or areas, very much like Doom, and or 4, main campaigns rather. And so the Quake 4 comes out and it tries to again do the more campaign focused thing, and that doesn't really work out, and it's kind of okay, not amazing or anything. And the multiplayer definitely isn't the shining part of Quake 4 either. And then they just come out with Quake Champions, which is the multiplayer only arena shooter game. We're not going to bother titling this one. It's basically their Quake 5, but multiplayer focused only game, and that's what's been kind of on indefinite support. And again, playing Quake Champions, it's fine, it's fun, but this is in an age where multiplayer online shooters are so prevalent and so numerous that as much as and this is the thing, I like fast action FPS gameplay. I really do like it. I like Doom and Tribes Ascend, and I guess Unreal Tournament, I guess, kind of counts. But I really do like fast moving first person shooters. And Quake Champions, I don't know what it is about it, but it doesn't have that addictive quality. I like it in concept and in theory, but when I play it, I just think I could be playing something else now, or I could be doing something else. Um, and so yeah, and it's weird that Quake, at least to me, seems to have this mythic almost reputation around it. And only after playing all of the games, I can really say I don't understand it. Because none of the games, it feels like everything they were trying to do, the mark they were trying to hit, they all missed. They're trying to do a really campaign focused game, it wasn't very good. They're trying to do a multiplayer only focused game, it wasn't very good. First Quake was kind of like Doom, where it had a bunch of varied things and it had pretty much campaign focused, as well as, you know, some multiplayer. And that felt the most, you know, well thought out, but still almost like derivative from Doom. Doom to me is just such a superior product, specifically like Doom 2. I'm not talking about Doom 3. Doom 2 is such a superior product that it's almost like they added too many components or didn't know how to mix the other components of the gameplay together to really make a very distinct and well-defined and iconic and fun experience. And so after all these years, Quake just is just an awful series to me. It feels one of those cursed series where it's not awful, but it feels almost, it is kind of unfortunate, but it almost reminds me a little bit of Time Splitters, where I really like Time Splitters, but it's never been quite good enough that I can be like, oh, this is a very superior FPS. Like, this is a class. I mean, it is classic, and it is very much built on sort of the GoldenEye, I don't know, philosophy or idea, or maybe GoldenEye is built on that, vice versa. And it just is a series that kind of died and never really took off, even though I feel like it should. But in Quake's case, it's never been something hyper successful or distinct. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. And Doom, in my opinion, is the far superior franchise and product. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just don't get. I mean, I kind of appreciate, you know, the Quake gameplay style, but again, there are other games that do it better, like Unreal Tournament. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I would like to see something like Quake, though. I like the idea of a very fast-paced, intense multiplayer shooter. And Unreal Tournament, as good as it is, specifically I'm thinking of 99, no one really plays that anymore, and I don't think you can play it on Steam or whatever. So, I mean, I guess the closest thing might be Tribes Ascend, and again, that's also pretty good. Or you know, Tribes 3 or whatever that's come out. It's still like a fairly good game, but for some reason, people just aren't playing it. They're not into it anymore. Maybe that genre of game just isn't popular, and I wish it was, because it is fun. Now we have things like Helldivers and I guess Lethal Company or Repo, which are more multiplayer, clickbait kind of focus games. Helldivers is actually fun, though, if not a little bit repetitive, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm just bemoaning, you know, the state of the industry, the state of Quake, and how it never was a game that lived up to any expectations I had of it. It had this big mythological air about it, and it's just not very good, what I wanted to say. And Doom really is the real king, in my opinion. And it's Doom clones and spin-offs. And to be fair, I mean, Quake has had some very successful spin-offs. I'm pretty sure Half-Life started off as a Quake mod. So there is an offshoot, and there is like, and that's the funny part, the offshoots and the iterations of Quake, I think, are much more successful and positive than the thing itself. I think also Counter-Strike also was a Quake mod, or I think Counter-Strike was actually a Half-Life mod, but Half-Life was originally a Quake mod. I think I'm getting that correct. But in any case, that's kind of what I wanted to say. Quake itself is not really very good, but it at least added the seed by which other things were created that were really extraordinary and very successful. So yeah, that's kind of the genesis and end of that series, and that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.